be ready for that.
Yeah.
Cylinders go out, all kinds of different things can happen. The tires can spin. When we're in our qualifying runs, if it does anything, you just lift and abort the run. In eliminations, it's about getting to that finish line first. So if it shakes the tires or if it spins the tires, the driver has to do extra work and get the tire caught back up, get back in the gas, or reel. You have to make split-second decisions on what the action is to correct it, or can it be corrected, and you have to do that in milliseconds.
I stood on the starting line at Dinwiddie and witnessed the shake and was so scared. And I told my cousin, we were there, and I said, this is like dating a 10. I mean, because of the so Tony, thank you so much. And what a rush. I won't even go on a roller coaster at Universal. I can't. So that's just that's great stuff. Could talk to you for hours. I hope we can do it again in a few months. So
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
And thank you so much for being a part, because that's some great stuff. I learned a lot today, a ton.
Well, you got to remember, I learned how to. I got good at driving race cars because I learned at a really early age that I was too lazy to work a real job. So I had to figure out how to be good.
I love it, Tony. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Appreciate the time, and yeah, everybody. We just had a chance to listen to one of the greatest to ever do it. But Tony, thank you so much, and wish you nothing but the best this weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
NSB Radio Network, Foster and Friends. We'll continue right after this. You know, eye health is one of the most important things that face aging adults. Understanding how bifocals, reading glasses, and proper eye care can make a difference. It's important to our day-to-day life. Envision, operated and owned by Becky and Scott Mann since 1990, is an award-winning practice that actually has been around since 1958. Folks in the Valley love the special individual and family care and the technology and support that Becky and Scott provide. From contact lens prescriptions to sleek frames, the staff will make sure that you and your family have the eye health and care that you deserve. Booking eye appointments and exams is easy. Log on to envision2020.com. Look for the new patient quick links. Envision, a proud supporter of Foster and Friends. I promise you will see things differently.
You need somebody who's well connected. You need somebody who's understands colleagues throughout the country, where you can pick up the phone and make calls. I mean, that was one of the things I think that helped me tremendously over the years, and Matt's got that.
You're listening to Foster and Friends with legendary coach Bud Foster. Once again, here's Bud and co-host Mac McDonald.
Welcome back, NSB Radio Network, Foster and Friends. That was the voice of Jeff Bourne, the outgoing athletic director at JMU. We'll talk about Matt Roan here in just a second, who is the new AD in Harrisonburg. Just to backtrack, how much fun was Tony? How much fun was Tony Stewart?
Wasn't that cool? Wasn't that cool? I mean, just you can tell racing's just that good old boy business, and he's got that, but also he took it to another level, explaining, you know, the driving those cars and the technology of those cars. Really cool.
Yeah, he saw something in Danica. You know, it was so good to hear his breakdown of Danica Patrick. You know, a few months down the road, we'll probably get him back, because I think he had fun. We asked for a few minutes and we got over 30, so that's why I had to cut that. In Harrisonburg last Tuesday, Matt Roan, a former Virginia Tech football redshirt from Pulaski County. His dad was a truck driver. We'll tell that story in a second. But anyway, Matt Roan was named to replace Jeff Bourne. He becomes the fourth athletic director, Bud, in Harrisonburg at JMU in the school's history, which is, you know, really a credit to Jeff Bourne, too, who stayed there for 25 years and is really the mentor of Matt Roan. Matt comes from Eastern Kentucky, making a good jump. And he said, you know, Harrisonburg, it's like going back home, and they found, you know, one of their own. And I think his quote was, JMU is everything. And I think that, you know, that's a pretty good quote about somebody being, you know, pretty happy about being in the school. The role of an AD now, Bud, how much harder is it than maybe when you got started in college athletics?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, as now that I'm behind the scenes and seeing what that job entails, there's a lot that goes into it. You know, everybody looks at the focal points of your program as being maybe, you know, football, men's and women's basketball, but there's so much more. I mean, so much more now in today's age of the NIL and you know what's happened here at Virginia here recently, and it's going to be interesting to see that. But those guys have to navigate so much the you know, as far as not just their staff and you know the coaching staff and you know, but the senior administrative staff, but the budget. There's so much that goes involved in that, and you know, you're talking about multi-million. You know, you're a CEO of a multi-million organization. You know, and it's you gotta be sharp, and you gotta be open-minded as well. But you know, it's cool to see a local guy. You know, Matt was a Pulaski County guy, like you said, and you know, he walked on here, was a tight end, and you came from a great program. You know, it's good to see a local guy have success, and I'm excited about his future at JMU. He's got big shoes to fill, and Jeff Bourne. Jeff did a great job there, and we wish him the best. But excited for Matt.
Matt Rohn from Tuesday in the press conference, telling a little story about his dad and how attached he felt to James Madison.
I saw it from a distance. I heard about it again from my father. My dad drove a truck for a living, and he would drive from Roanoke, Virginia to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania 5 nights a week. So he would certainly miss a lot of games, but he would tell me, hey, the stadium was lit up. That was beautiful. That's a special place.
Special place. And so he'll fit in. He'll do well. We have about 30 seconds. Croatia and beyond. Dublin, Croatia, and the world tour. Bud Foster. And if you start shaking hands with people over there, Bud, if they start hollering Bud Foster, then I'm going to have to find a replacement, because if it's anything like Blacksburg when you take this tour, Bud Foster, what a great trip.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We've had this thing planned for about a year, and we're going to spend a few days on land, but we're going to spend a few days on a sailboat, and we're going to be the crew. So it's going to be an interesting trip. I've never been to Europe, so you know, I'm one of those, if I get kidnapped, nobody's going to pay for me, though. I can tell you that.
I'll make a couple of calls. Have a great trip, partner. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay?
All right. Thank you, buddy.
For Bud Foster, I'm Mac McDonald, and that is the NSB Radio Network.
You've been listening to Foster and Friends with former coach Bud Foster. Foster and Friends is brought to you in part by the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting in Winter Park, Florida, and is a presentation of the NSB Network.
Cutting through my soul, there's a world wide open. Look up at